Good morning, everybody. Hope you had a great weekend. I know it was a holiday weekend. Today is my niece's birthday, so a big shout out to her. Have a great day, Janet. Be safe. Okay. I had a couple things happen to me over the weekend. Just moments that I had, how you get when you're older. I was listening to music, and up popped John Lennon's Imagine. And I'm listening to that, and I'm going to myself, I said, geez, that's a great song. He was really a good guy, He understood what was going on. I don't think he would have changed anything if he was still around, but maybe, you never know. He would have had people listening to him, though. Anyhow, Trump would have tried to deport his wife, Yoko, so, things would have gotten really tough. Probably would have tried to deport John, too. That's how stupid Trump is. But the thing that got me about that was that I sat down and I started to realize all the great men in the United States, and Martin Luther King, Kennedy, John Lennon, and others whose names escape me at the moment, but as soon as I saw their faces or heard their words, I knew who they were and what they wanted to say. They were important people. They had hearts, they had empathy, they were intelligent. Our government was well represented, and the American people were well represented by these people, by these folks. And then all of a sudden, here we are, 2025, where everything that was done that was good is being destroyed by some fat slob. These guys that are in there now are not eloquent speakers. They're not highly intelligent. And in my opinion, most of them are completely unqualified for the positions that they hold. Starting at the top. Excuse me. Stifling a yawn there. Because I don't do editing, so I yawn. And that just upset me, I said, why do we do that to our best people? Why do we destroy them? Why do we kill them when they're in their prime, or why do we just destroy their legacies? Trump's not going to have a legacy that makes any kind of sense to anybody. It's not going to be a good one. Either it's Vance or any of the members of the cabinet or Congress, on both sides of the aisle now. I'm not going to just say the Republicans, although they're probably the ones that have been trying to destroy democracy for years. It became evident in the last 10 years or so that the Republicans are out there to get rich. They're not out there to help anybody. No empathy for anybody. Well, listen, I could keep talking about this for all day long, and all that's going to happen is everybody that's listening to me is going to get very depressed, and I really don't want them to be depressed. So here, listen up. Did you watch this horrible tragedy this weekend of the Texas flood? The governor of Texas responded almost immediately. And he's a Republican, and I don't like him, but, he's got done some really shitty things, but he's got empathy, He was there, promising to help. And where's Donald? playing golf in the first hours of this tragedy before he said anything, and then he said some useless shit like he always does. Now he's demanding they investigate the Weather Bureau. Let me tell you something. He and Musk and Dodge and the Congress destroyed the Weather Bureau's early warning systems, cut them down to nothing. People, you know, you have to leave a radio on and or something. I don't know. You just can't get information adequately. I'm not even sure that any of the information that was sent out was inadequate, but it's apparently, from what I'm understanding, it was the ability to get it out to those that needed it, because there were people missing, not only from the storm but from the Weather Bureau's area of expertise in that, you know, and they're not the only ones that were responsible for it. You know, there's not much the state could have done about it, but local police might have been able to do more than they did. I don't know. But don't tell those guys that, because those guys are crying now because of the 80-some-odd people they lost and the 27 kids that died in that camp. That's a horrible tragedy. Could have been prevented? I'm not so. I don't know. From what I read, yes. They put it in. The camp is built in an area that's called Flood Alley. Flash Flood Alley or something like that, along those lines. And that means that the people that built it were stupid. They built it in the wrong place. They built it in a very dangerous place. Now, I don't know if they ever had anything like this happen in the years that the camp was there, or if there was floods of any degree while they were there, if this was just a spectacular weather event. But I'll tell you this, you know, it took them years to go. In North Carolina, it took them years to stop building, and now I think they're back to building on the Outer Banks that used to get wiped out every hurricane season. They did. California had these people building these homes on the sides of a mountain. They were structurally safe for a period of time, but Mother Nature doesn't like that. And over a course of time, most of those houses came down. They're not safe. It cost millions of dollars. Same with the Outer Banks houses. They cost millions of dollars. Rich people think they can build anywhere. They don't pay attention to any warnings anybody gives them. But I got news for these rich people. Money isn't going to help you, okay? It's just not. You know, you can't, it's not going to put sandbags around your house. Well, maybe it will, but it's not going to guarantee your safety. Doesn't guarantee your health, doesn't guarantee your safety. It just means you can buy things other people can't. That's all. But when it comes to storms, Mother Nature don't care. There was a very big landslide in the town I live in Columbia, and one of our security guards lost everything in it, and we're trying to give him stuff to get him back to work and everything like that. I don't know whether that's going to happen. You have no idea the psychological effect of that. You know, getting out just in time to stay alive and losing everything else, and it's like a soldier in Vietnam or Afghanistan or wherever you want to go, and his buddy next to him gets shot and killed, and you know, there's a couple of things that flash through your head. Better him than me, and you say no, yeah, it happens. That's where PTSD comes in. When you see your friends killed and you're surviving, and you keep asking yourself why. You know, well, you were left there for some reason. But we have right now an administration that's completely ineffective, unqualified to handle national disasters. And we have the possibility of some serious national disasters piling up on us. Instead of being competitive as to how much land you can own or how many people you can put in jail, you know, you start being human beings. Speaking of putting in jail, that's the part of that bill, that big, beautiful bill that everybody says is so horrible. That's the horrible part about it. The addition of money being spent on detention camps and ICE agents. Agents that don't wear uniforms. Not every one of them wears a uniform or that identifies them as an ICE agent. They wear masks so that they can't be outed, more or less. They're taking American citizens, veterans' wives and whatnot, that the veterans believe that their wives are safe and they're deporting them. Or they're holding them hostage, maybe to get the veterans to do something that they don't want to do. This is a criminal enterprise now, you know. You have what Cold War KGB or Gestapo, and that's the way they act, grabbing people, physically forcing them into vans and whatnot. That's going to continue until somebody stands up to them. And I'm not anxious to see that, because that'll be the beginning of some serious violence. But I think, unfortunately, I believe that this isn't going to be solved peacefully unless America completely and totally surrenders. You bend over and kiss your ass goodbye, folks. You know, I have a couple of years, 2 or 3 years left. I don't know how I'm going to spend them. I don't know what's going to happen to me. If I was in America, I'd be petrified, an old man, petrified. Fortunately, at the moment, I am not inside the country. I have family there. I worry about them. But they're fairly wealthy. They're part of the elite, and I'm not so sure that they don't agree with Trump on everything, you know? I mean, look, they went after, they go after a lot of things, and they say it's because there's fraud. Of course there's fraud. But the thing is, part of those organizations that are committing the fraud are the same ones that are sending money to the Republicans so that they can send ICE, what do they call them, police officers or whatever, into your neighborhood, you know? It's scary. I know people that worked very hard to become naturalized citizens. And I know people that have tried, and for whatever reason there's been a delay. You know, but they're trying. They're trying to do the right thing. I also know people that want nothing to do with the United States in terms of citizenship. They'll work on a green card. Those green cards are going to get revoked, but only certain ones. The guys that have the B1, B2, HB, whatever it is, visas, and they're working in the AT&T and whatnot, they're not going anywhere. You know? And when I say they're not going anywhere, when theirs expire, they don't go anywhere. They don't leave the country. You know, they get a job in a work job on a green card, but it's not the reason you were allowed in the country in the first place. Owning a 7-Eleven instead of working for AT&T does not qualify for you to maintain your residency in the United States. And yes, those people at those level jobs are taking jobs from Americans. All right, simply because the Americans can't afford to get educated enough. And our cost of living is so high that they can't afford to take those jobs, the starting position. You know, they can't afford to do it. So it's a hard thing out there, you know. Can you tell it's Monday? I mean, look at it. Look around you. It's not bright in here. You know, the sun's shining out there, but there's a bit of a haze over everything. Sort of like America. There's a bit of a haze over America. I don't know what's going to happen. You know, because people are listening to Trump saying he has the control over the elections. He can get all the votes discounted and stuff like that. You know, so why vote? You know, and that's that. Why do anything? Well, you do it so that you don't have to revert to violence later on. You know, revert to violence. I'm sorry. You try to do it the right way, and when they give you no choice, well, then you have to make another decision. Okay, that's pretty much it for me today. I got to find something happier to talk about, man. I can't wait for football season and do some football conversations or something. Hopefully, there'll be a season. All right, that's it for now. Hit the subscribe button on the bottom of the screen. Like me if you care. The subscriptions don't cost you anything. You just get a notification that when I'm on the air. I think that's how it works. I don't even know if you get that. Okay, I don't. From the people I subscribe to, I get nothing. No information whatsoever. All right. So I get more garbage from Facebook than I do from the YouTube experience. So do yourself a favor or do me a favor. Don't do yourself a favor. Well, you might be doing. You never know. But anyhow, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. Like I said, it doesn't cost anything, and all you got to do to get rid of it is click on the subscribe button and hit unsubscribed. So it's not a big deal, you know. It just makes me, I don't know, look important or whatever, or at least some sort of form of recognition besides the fact that you show up as a view. You know, it shows up that you're actually interested in what I have to say. And I promise I'm working on trying to stop wandering, but there's just so much crap that's going on in various things that I want to talk about. I'm either going to have to start doing more videos per day or something. I don't know. Like I said, I'm considering doing a live one again. They have to be long because it takes a while. It's difficult to find me when I do this, I guess, you know, when you look at the where to find me and whatnot, you know. That's why I say that the more subscribers I get, the easier it is to find me on YouTube, you know. And I mean, you could, you know, download my picture, put it on the wall, and throw darts at it if you want to. I don't care, but please subscribe. Anyhow, that's it for me today, and I'll see you tomorrow, folks.